Okay, so what we are here for is this. So what makes a lead magnet truly inclusive? Now we are going to look at the ethics, we are going to look at it being consent-based and making sure that accessibility is there at every single stage of your lead magnet. I normally do a sound check, but I didn't do that today. Silly me. Anyhow, if you don't know who I am, my name is Louise O'Reilly. I'm a business and inclusion coach. So I help online service-based business owners who value inclusion to embed it into all of their business, because business as usual is inherently exclusive and it supports marginalization, it supports oppression. So it's for those socially conscious business owners who recognize this and can see that traditional ways of doing business actually do exclude marginalized communities. And they're saying, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to be living and doing business in a way that supports that. I'm going to do business in a way that's inclusive. And that inclusivity is something that helps dismantle that oppression. It dismantles those systems and frameworks that support the further oppression of marginalized people, exclusion, all those kinds of things. So that is who I help. But we're going to be talking about lead magnets in this one. And I am going to be talking about 3 different parts to it. But before I get to that, I want to do a quick acknowledgement of country. So I would like to acknowledge the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation as the traditional and ongoing custodians of the land, waters and skies from which I am joining you from. I'm very, very grateful and appreciative of their custodianship that they have fulfilled for all of time, and they will forever be the custodians of this place, because sovereignty has never been ceded, and this is Aboriginal land, always was, always will be. I'd also like to pay respect to the elders and of the Whadjuk elders, and really, really thank them for their amazing community leadership that they deliver all the time, endlessly. It is something quite incredible to witness, the level of leadership, care and support that elders constantly give back into community. I'd also like to invite you, if you're watching along, to pop an acknowledgement and let us know what Aboriginal or Indigenous lands you are joining us from. And I'd also like to pay respects to those custodians and the elders in whatever title they refer to themselves on those lands. Okay, so there are 3 parts to what makes a lead magnet truly inclusive. I'm going to briefly go through 3 parts of it. So this is before creating that lead magnet. So this might be called a freebie. It might be something that you consider calling it a freebie, but it is a lead magnet. It is a way that you are becoming aware that there are people who are potential leads for your business. We're also going to be talking about while you're actually offering it, what you can do, and also after sign up. So there's the 3 parts that I'm going to be talking about today. So the very first part we're going to be talking about is before creating a lead magnet and what you need to do as well. So making sure that you are also framing it in a way that positions you as someone who is a support and not someone who knows better than others. This is something that can also be hard for marginalized people to get involved with, to sign up to, because there is an imbalance. There's already an imbalance of power. So making sure you're framing it in a way that is, I'm here to support, I am not better than, I don't have all the answers, I'm not the all-knowing, but in this particular problem, I have possible solutions that may work for you. That kind of framing can work really well, because it also, again, acknowledges that people are autonomous, they have their own thoughts, ideas, and things like that. So doing that kind of thing can be good as well. Okay, accessibility of format. Okay. When we're talking about accessibility of format, basically what you want to be making sure is that if people require your freebie, the information or your solution, they may require it in different forms. So it may be that they need to have captions on your videos, or there might need to be transcripts along with your podcast, or it might be that they need to have alt text along with pictures to make sure that they know what you're talking about, and if the picture is relevant to building the understanding around that solution that you're offering. Those kinds of things you can also offer in videos and PDFs, and have options where if they do need it in a different form, or they need to contact you about the freebie, or you need to just talk with them through it, having those kinds of options available can increase the accessibility of your lead magnet. Okay, we're going to talk about visibility and reach. So this one is mainly looking at, where are you showing up? Where are you sharing your offers? Where are you talking about? Where are you inviting people? Quite often that businesses will show up in the business spaces they're in, right? But they often don't consider who is in those particular communities. And what you might find, if you want to do a quick audit of the places that you share your lead magnets, who is filling those spaces? And ask yourself the question, are these spaces filled with either very privileged people with, they may have some marginalizations, but not a lot of marginalizations? Are they people who look like you, who identify in the same communities as you do? Those kinds of things. And then start to think about, okay, well, in terms of my niche and that spectrum, where do those marginalized people hang out that may be in spaces I don't hang out? And then you can have a look at, okay, if they are in these other spaces, are these other spaces open to having people who are outside those communities in those spaces, and in those spaces offering solutions? So it is often a little bit of investigation that needs to happen, and making sure you're being respectful and making sure you're not overstepping in those spaces, because a lot of those spaces are built to be safe for marginalized people to be in, and it is often spaces where it is the marginalized people are the people who are centered. It's conversations around those people, and people who aren't in those communities are often there to either just bear witness to the conversations and the businesses and the promotions and things like that, or they're there as supporters when there are some kind of call outs that are needed from that community into more privileged communities. So it is a balance, and just make sure you find one where it is okay for you to talk about your lead magnet. Okay, trauma-informed approach. So this is something I think is going to be talked about a lot more in business, and it's something that is going to be becoming more and more relevant and prevalent in the way we do business. And it is basically because we are at a stage where we are witnessing so much injustice that's happening around the world, so much oppression that's happening around the world, so much harm, all those kinds of things. We're bearing witness to so much because of technology, and we're able to see so much stuff going on right now. When you are socially conscious, that can have a real impact, because one, you want to make sure you're informed, and you want to make sure you're up to date with what is going on, and potentially searching for ways that you can be an ally or be supportive or do something, speak up something, right? So we are feeling all of that stuff. So we want to make sure that when we are offering our freebies, that they are really trauma informed. So we're looking at things like not using scarcity tactics. So, and they're unethical anyway, or urgency tactics. Anything that says you must deal with this right now, right away, it's going to disappear soon, all these kind of tactics And I'm talking about those fake ones, those ones where it's fabricated scarcity, like there is only 2 spots left when actually, no, there's many spots left. You're just saying there's 2 to make it seem like you're in demand or make it seem like there's only a couple, so you need to act fast. Just really fabricating that urgency to it. It is unethical because already the state of people's nervous systems it's dysregulated. People are feeling all the feels. It feels hard. It feels overwhelming to witness all this stuff. And then having to deal with this urgency and this scarcity tactics that are forcing them to make decisions very quickly without thinking about them and out of desperation and not really being informed when they're actually joining them. So making sure you're not using those, you're not using like fear-based tactics or pressure tactics, things that are saying like, you know, you can either do this and you have this most amazing, they paint this wonderful, amazing life, right? Or you cannot take it and then you can experience what you're experiencing. And then they will amp it up. They will keep going like, yeah, but then if you don't do it now, then this is going to happen, this is going to happen. And then they paint this really awful life that you're going to have if you don't take it up. All those kinds of things, absolutely, absolutely unethical. And it's unreasonable and, again, unethical to be putting people's nervous systems in that state when they're already in a state of dysregulation. They're already in a state where they are trying to search for some solutions to their problems. So making sure you're not doing those kinds of things. Allow them the space to actually decide, giving them all the information they need to make an informed decision. And at the end of the day as well, don't you want to have people who are on your list, who are aligned with what you do, who really do need the solutions that you're offering and your services, and who are there because they actually chose to be there, not because they were forced or coerced to be there. So that's some really good things to think about in terms of when you're actually offering your freebie, especially when you're considering marginalised people. There is a lot of oppression and other social things that they are dealing with. Having you pressure them into this freebie to solve a problem that they're experiencing is just adding to that pain. You're adding to that harm. So not doing it and making sure everything is just there's space available is really, really good. Okay, last, we are going to be talking about after they actually sign up. So once you've done all that consent-based stuff, it's really ethical the way you've done it. You've looked at, okay, what kind of freebie they want. You've looked at the marginalized groups and how to talk with them and the kinds of things they're experiencing, all that kind of stuff. And they've gone, yep, I'm going to sign up. So what you usually have then is a welcome sequence that doesn't assume privilege. This is something that many business owners probably don't consider. And that is that presumption of privilege when people do sign up. So we need to not make assumptions like they have the money, like they have the time, they have the energy or capacity to be fully engaged or part of a funnel. You know, you can kind of use language that's like, if this isn't right for you right now, save this and come back to it. And then you can set up a like check-in kind of system where you go, I'm just checking in. How are you going now? How are you going with that thing that I sent you? Is, you know, life better, or is that solution working for you? Blah, blah, blah. And that way you can build a beautiful relationship. And doing it that way, in a way that's not that pressure-filled, or a way that's not like really forceful, is something that can actually help you build stronger relationships with those people, because when they're in your presence, they don't actually feel like they're being pushed or coerced into doing something. And you are a supportive person who is going to be essentially part of their team in helping them to solve a problem, and you're not some kind of what comes to mind straight away was dictator telling them they have to do all this stuff. So it is, again, about autonomy and about being consent-based with that too. Okay, after that, we've got ongoing consent and clarity. So in this part, it's really great to let people know what is going to be coming next in their inboxes, things like that. Letting them know how you're going to be supporting them. You can let them know things like the frequency of how often you're going to be sending those things, and making sure it's easy for them to opt out. They can unsubscribe. So having things like, this is what I'm going to be talking about, this is what I'm going to be sharing. You have the option to opt out here and stay on my general mailing list, or you can unsubscribe completely if you've got what you needed so far. So making sure they have the knowledge, and you are very, very clear that they are in charge. They are the one in control of the relationship that you're having and the access that you have into their email boxes. That kind of stuff works really, really well. And again, it builds things like trust, because they don't feel like they're trapped with you. They don't feel like they're stuck in this thing and they can't get out of it. You are giving them a very kind and generous, if this is not going to work for you right now, if there's too much pressure, if you don't have the capacity, it's okay for you to opt out. This is something that builds a type of trust that it goes in like that memory bank, or that goes into their back pocket and go, well, I can't do it right now, but I like the way that you have acknowledged me as an actual human being, and acknowledge that maybe I don't have the time right now, or the capacity, or the resources right now to do this, but I might in the future. This is something that I'm interested in and something I need help with. So when I am capable, when I have the money, when I have the capacity, I'll grab you out of my back pocket and come straight back to you. So having that really beautiful connection can be really, really helpful with building relationships as well. Which leads into the next thing as well: connection, not conversion. And this is really anchoring in the thought that they are human beings. They are not, essentially, they're not just leads that go to conversion. It's more about they are human beings who have a problem. You have not the solution to that problem, your version of the solution to that problem, and you are willing and wanting to help them solve that problem and transform so that they get the desired outcome that they want. So recognizing that they are human is really, really great, and not looking at them as numbers, because again, looking at them just as leads and conversions and not as humans with real lives and real problems and they need help is so looking at them in the way that they are conversion is in support of that oppressive framework and oppressive systems that operate. When you look at them in ways that they are human and you are helping another human being, that is that dismantling of those systems again, because there's a different way of considering those people who are potential leads, and you are humanizing them again. Okay, we've also got representation and safety in ongoing emails. So for your future emails, it's important to also consider, okay, what are the emails that these people are going to be receiving now? Even if they finished that particular funnel, what about your general emails? Is there representation of those communities in those emails? Are there images that show those people in your content? Is there examples that talk about their different life experiences and possible tips or solutions to those problems? Are you making sure that when you are talking to them in those emails, they feel like you're talking to them? So making sure that there is representation of those different marginalised communities in your emails is something that is going to, one, keep them as loyal subscribers. Often they will also be loyal referrers as well. So they will be referring other people to you because like, this person is always talking about the kinds of situations we have in our different communities. They are aware of oppression. They are socially conscious. They're not afraid to actually name the things that are going on in the world. and recognizing some of the extra difficulties that we experience as marginalized people. So making sure in your future emails that representation of marginalized people are continuing on can be really, really great in building that trust, that know, like, and trust factor. And we as business owners know that factor, the know, like, and trust factor, is something that improves and increases conversion into paying clients. Okay. So just some reminders for you for the end of this live is that inclusion isn't a checklist. Inclusion is a way of doing business. It is something that embeds its way into every aspect of business. It is something that is there to dismantle oppressive systems. Now, as I said at the very start of this live, business as usual is inherently oppressive. It is inherently exclusive, and it inherently marginalizes marginalized people further. So if you are a socially conscious business, a values-led business, and you do value inclusion, you do value accessibility, embedding inclusion into all the aspects of your business is really important. Another thing I want to remind you is that lead magnets are an invitation into a relationship, a person-to-person, human-to-human relationship. It's not something that is designed to trap people into a sales funnel. And it's not something to start having key performance indicators. So they're not leads that convert. It's the humans with real problems. And you have a solution to those problems, and you are the person who can help them. Also, the more inclusive your lead magnets are, the more that you have talked to, listened to, and understood the whole spectrum of people in your niche, the more aligned those freebies are, more aligned those lead magnets are, the more aligned your messaging is around your promos, the more likely you are to actually convert them into paying clients where you can really do the transformational work and help them so deeply in their lives. So inclusion is a way of doing business better. At the end of the day, it is how you up-level your business, is through inclusive practices. So with that said, if you do have a lead magnet and you are now thinking, I'm not sure if it is inclusive or if it is ethical or accessible, get in contact with me, because I can do a 30-minute one-to-one audit with your lead magnet. So what we can do with that is we'll have a look at your opt-in page, and we can tweak anything that needs tweaking in those things. We can look at what your actual freebie is, and I can make suggestions on those particular things. And then you can walk away with a list of actions that you can take straight away to make your lead magnet more inclusive and more accessible. So if you would like to take that up, please get in contact with me. You will be able to find, wherever this is, you'll be able to find some way to get in contact with me. Please feel free to DM me. If, on the other hand, you're thinking, you know what, I do want my business to be, totally based and rooted in inclusion. I don't want my business to be one that is in support of or continuing oppression, continuing marginalization and exclusion, and I want it to be threaded through every aspect of my business. The Inclusion Creators Collective is the most amazing space for that. So it is a membership. It is $33 a month at the moment, as I do this 11/11 on the thing. So I do warmly invite you to come and even check it out. For $33, come and join for a whole month and get all the support for a whole month and we can look at any aspect of your business and look at how it can be more inclusive, it can be more accessible, and we can be dismantling and decolonizing that business structure, and making sure it's in a way that we're actually doing business that has positive social impact, and that is leading to a world that is better. So thank you very much for watching. If you have questions, pop them in the chat boxes. Thank you, and much love.